begin tonight with Jillian Michaels, former Democrat turned MAGA. She's the host of the Keeping It Real podcast. You were on with Jessica Tarlov, a Democrat, talking about this just earlier today. Fantastic podcast. I think people should check it out. Jillian, are you surprised with how rapidly and how aggressively things have happened?
Actually, I am, simply because you've heard that changing anything in America, let alone countrywide, right, just on a city level takes years. And the fact that he is churning this stuff out almost makes you want to slow down and just say, are we sure that we're not being too broad here and too sweeping? But yeah, he is known for taking action, and he is surely keeping his promises.
He's keeping his promises to take lots of action. Whether those actions actually have results or have the results he and other people want them to have is a very different thing.
Listen, for me personally, I really am more of an independent, to be fair, and I would like a more moderate message across the board. If I had to choose between wide open borders and mass deportations, I would love a more moderate voice that talks about how legal migration is important, how it would stimulate the economy, getting more judges to the border to adjudicate cases for good people more effectively. In truth, this is a message that I would love. But since I have to choose from one extreme or another, I'm going to choose Donald Trump.
All right.
Because we have seen our infrastructure be overrun. We have seen criminals coming into the country, and even if it's 1%, that's 1% too many. So again, if it's one choice or the other, then I choose Donald Trump, absolutely.
Okay, well, understandable. A lot of people did. In fact, more people chose Donald Trump than chose Kamala Harris. That's why we're where we are in America. It's how democracy works. You spoke about the border, and if there's one defining issue to Trump's presidency, it is the border. That's what he ran on. Here's Kristi Noem, his Secretary of Homeland Security, on Fox. Take a listen.
Clearly, we want to come in and help make their streets safer. It was amazing to me the other morning when I was in New York City. It was 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the community members were walking past us on the streets and saying, thank you.
Is somebody who I think understands performance pretty well and the show. Does it help to have the Secretary of Homeland Security playing dress up in a Border Patrol hat with a blowout and lip gloss, or does it almost make a mockery of something that you've talked about as so important?
Listen, to me personally, I would prefer if both parties stopped with the grandstanding and the performative exercises that we've been seeing in the Senate hearings and on the border. People want results. There was a clear mandate. Trump is working to deliver them. But I really do believe that most people in the country are purple people. Again, if you have to pick a side, which we all do, you've seen the way that it's gone. But I don't think that extremes or exactly what you just referenced, it wouldn't be the way that I would handle it. I think that having more empathy about the situation, I'm
sensing a little buyer's remorse.
No, not at all. No, not at all. My point is simply, in a perfect world, I think that bringing America together is going to require a more moderate and empathetic viewpoint. We can't have open borders. We can't have millions of people crossing the border and the cartels running our border like a business. I did an entire podcast on this with Anthony Robbins, Dr. Phil, Brandon Judd, who used to run Border Patrol. Yeah. And essentially, we lost 250,000 children that our border policies effectively trafficked. I mean, these things must stop, absolutely. However, understanding that we need legal immigration.
You said he's going too fast, and I understand that. That's Donald Trump's speed. We knew that. Anybody who covered him the first time around. But thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.